The emergency room doors burst open for the 7th time that night. Dr. Taman barely looked up from the patient he was stitching. Blood covered his gloves and parts of his scrubs, but his hands remained steady. Another traffic accident victim rolled in on a gurney, and he could hear the paramedics shouting vital signs to the nurses. "Hannah, take over here," Taman said to the woman beside him. "I need to check the new arrival." Dr. Hannah nodded and stepped in smoothly, taking the needle from his hands. They had worked together for so many years that words were often unnecessary. She knew what he needed before he asked. Taman moved to the next bed where the new patient lay unconscious. The man had a piece of metal sticking out of his chest. Taman assessed the situation in seconds. The metal was close to the heart but had missed the major vessels. Lucky. The patient would survive if they moved fast. "Get me an operating room," he called out. "We need to remove this debris and check for internal damage." The nurses rushed to prepare. This was normal for Seoul General Hospital. Every night brought new emergencies. Car crashes, industrial accidents, falls from buildings, poisonings from bad food or chemicals. Earth was a dangerous place and humans had learned to adapt. 6 hours later, Taman sat in the break room with Hannah. His body ached with exhaustion, but the feeling was familiar. Comfortable even. He had saved 4 lives tonight. The man with the metal in his chest was stable. A woman with severe burns was recovering. 2 children from a house fire were breathing on their own. "You look terrible," Hannah said, handing him a cup of coffee. "Thanks," Taman replied with a tired smile. "You look great too." Hannah laughed and sat down beside him. She pulled out her tablet and scrolled through something. Her expression changed, becoming more serious. "Look at this," she said, turning the screen toward him. Taman read the notice on the screen. The Galactic Medical Consortium was looking for doctors. They needed staff for a hospital station called Kepler 442. The station served mining colonies in a frontier sector of space. Earth had joined the consortium 15 years ago, but very few humans had been accepted into their programs. "You should apply," Hannah said. Taman shook his head. "They don't want humans. You know how the aliens see us?" "Deathworlders," Hannah said, using the term aliens had given to humans. "From a Class 12 danger planet. Too violent, too aggressive, too primitive." "Exactly," Taman agreed. "Why would they accept me?" "Because they're desperate." Hannah pointed to another part of the notice. "Look, they've lowered the requirements. They need doctors badly. This is your chance." Taman thought about it. He had always dreamed of going to space, of seeing other worlds and meeting alien species, but he also loved his work here. Earth needed good trauma surgeons. People depended on him. "What about Seoul General?" he asked. "They'll find someone else," Hannah said. "But you might not get another chance like this." When was the last time the consortium accepted human applications? She was right. This opportunity might not come again. Taman took the tablet from her hands and read through the full notice. The position was for a general emergency physician. The pay was decent. The contract was for 2 years with an option to extend. "I'll think about it," he said. 3 weeks later, Taman found himself sitting in front of a hologram projector. His interview was about to begin. He had filled out the application forms, submitted his medical records and certifications, and somehow made it to the final selection round. The hologram activated, and 3 alien figures appeared in his living room. One looked like a giant insect with multiple eyes and delicate antennae. Another resembled a floating jellyfish with tentacles that glowed softly. The third was harder to describe, something like a walking plant with flowers for a head. Dr. Taman, the insect alien, spoke in a clicking voice that his translator turned into Korean. "I am Velthara, head of personnel for Station Kepler 442. Thank you for applying." "Thank you for considering me," Taman replied. The interview began with basic questions. His education, his experience, his specialties, Taman answered honestly. He had graduated from Seoul Medical University. He had worked in emergency medicine for 10 years. He specialized in trauma surgery and critical care. Then Velthara asked him to describe a typical day at work. Taman thought back to last week. "Well, on Monday I treated a construction worker who fell from a building. He had multiple broken bones and internal bleeding. I performed emergency surgery to stop the hemorrhaging and repair his damaged organs." The 3 aliens looked at each other. The jellyfish creature made a sound like wind chimes. "You performed surgery for internal bleeding?" Velthara asked. "By yourself?" "With a team, yes," Taman said. "It's standard procedure for trauma cases. And the patient survived? Yes, he's recovering well. He should be able to return to work in a few months. More looks between the aliens. Taman couldn't read their expressions, but something felt off. Continue, Velthara said. What else did you do that day? I treated a woman with severe chemical burns from a factory accident. About 40% of her body was affected. We cleaned the wounds, applied artificial skin grafts, and started her on antibiotics to prevent infection. 40% burns, the plant alien repeated. And she lived? Yes, burns are serious but treatable if you act fast. What else? Let me see. There was a child who ate poisonous mushrooms. We pumped his stomach and administered antitoxins. 2 elderly patients with heart attacks. 1 person with a collapsed lung from a stabbing. A teenager who overdosed on drugs. The usual things. The silence from the aliens stretched longer this time. Dr. Taman, Velthara said slowly. You consider these things usual? For an emergency room on Earth, yes, Taman replied. Is something wrong? The jellyfish alien spoke for the first time. We have reviewed your medical records. Your survival rates are extraordinary. Your patient recovery times are remarkably fast. Your treatment methods are aggressive, the plant alien finished. We practice evidence-based medicine, Taman said, feeling defensive. Everything I do follows established protocols. My success rates are within normal range for human doctors. That's what concerns us, Velthara said. What you consider normal would be considered extreme crisis intervention in most of the galaxy. The injuries you treat regularly would be rare disasters on other worlds. Taman began to understand. Earth was a Class 12 death world. The classification meant the planet was incredibly dangerous by galactic standards. Extreme weather, dangerous wildlife, countless diseases, natural disasters. Humans had evolved to survive in conditions that would kill most alien species. I can adapt my methods, Taman said carefully. I'm willing to learn about alien physiology and adjust my techniques. Another long pause. Then Velthara's antenna twitched in what might have been a nod. Dr. Taman, we will be honest. We are not comfortable hiring humans. Your species frightens us. Your planet terrifies us. But we are desperate for staff. Station Kepler 442 serves dangerous mining operations. Accidents happen. We need doctors who can handle emergencies. I can handle emergencies, Taman said. We believe you can, Velthara replied. Perhaps too well. But we will take that risk. Welcome to the Galactic Medical Consortium. 2 months later, Taman stood at the spaceport with a single bag of belongings. Hana had come to see him off. So had a few other colleagues from Sol General. They took pictures and made jokes about him becoming a space doctor. Take care of yourself, Hana said, hugging him tight. Show them what human medicine can do. I will, Taman promised. He boarded the transport ship and found his seat. As the ship lifted off from Earth, Taman watched his home planet shrink below him. He was heading into the unknown, toward aliens who feared him and doubted him, but he was ready. Whatever challenges waited at Station Kepler 442, he would face them. He was a doctor. He was human. He was a Deathworlder, and he was going to save lives. The transport ship docked at Station Kepler 442 3 weeks after leaving Earth. Taman gathered his bag and stepped through the airlock into his new workplace. The first thing he noticed was how clean everything looked. The walls gleamed white. The floors sparkled. The air smelled sterile and filtered, without any of the usual hospital odors he was used to. A figure waited for him at the docking bay. Taman recognized the species from his studies, a Thren, crystalline beings from a garden world called Threnaxis. The alien looked like a person made of translucent blue crystal, with light moving through its body in patterns. Dr. Taman, the Thren said through a translator device. I am Dr. Quinn, chief physician of this station. Follow me. The tone was cold, not welcoming. Taman followed quietly, pulling his bag behind him. They walked through corridors that felt more like a luxury hotel than a medical facility. Everything was soft lighting and smooth surfaces. Dr. Quinn led him to the medical bay. Taman stopped in the doorway, stunned. The room was huge and almost empty. 20 beds lined the walls, but only 2 were occupied. Medical equipment stood against the walls, looking barely used. Several alien staff members moved slowly between stations, their movements relaxed and casual. This is our emergency department, Dr. Quinn said. It's very quiet, Taman observed. We treat approximately 15 patients per week, Dr. Quinn replied. Most cases are minor. Small infections, simple injuries, routine illnesses. 15 patients per week. Taemin had treated 15 patients before lunch on many days back in Seoul. He kept his face neutral, not wanting to seem disrespectful. A human voice called out from across the room. "Hey, you must be the new doctor from Earth." A young man in nurse's uniform approached them. He was Korean like Taemin with a friendly smile and tired eyes. "I'm Hyunwoo," the man said, extending his hand. "I've been here for 3 months. It's good to see another human." They shook hands. Dr. Quinn's crystal body seemed to dim slightly, showing displeasure. "Nurse Hyunwoo will show you to your quarters," Dr. Quinn said. "Report for duty tomorrow at 800 station time. You will be assigned to low-priority cases until we assess your capabilities." The crystal doctor walked away without another word. Hyunwoo watched him go, then turned to Taemin with a sympathetic expression. "Don't take it personally," Hyunwoo said. "They're afraid of us. Come on, I'll show you around." Hyunwoo led Taemin through the station. The living quarters were comfortable. The cafeteria served food from multiple worlds, and there was even a recreation area with screens and games. But something felt wrong to Taemin. Everything was too perfect, too safe, too calm. "Tell me honestly," Taemin said as they sat in the cafeteria with drinks. "What's it really like working here?" Hyunwoo sighed. "It's frustrating. The alien doctors treat everything like a major crisis. Last week a traitor came in with a small cut on his arm. Just a cut, maybe 2 centimeters long. The doctors spent an hour discussing treatment options. They wore full protective suits. They used enough sterilization equipment for a major surgery, all for a cut that needed 3 stitches. Why so careful?" Taemin asked. "Because most of them come from Garden World," Hyunwoo explained. "Planets with perfect weather, no predators, almost no diseases. They evolved in paradise. Earth is literally one of the most dangerous planets in known space. What we consider normal, they consider nightmare scenarios." Taemin thought about this. It explained the interview, the strange reactions to his experience, the fear in Velthara's voice. "They don't trust human medicine," Hyunwoo continued. "They think we're too rough, too fast, too willing to cut into patients. Dr. Quinn barely lets me handle any real cases. I mostly organize supplies and file reports." "That's ridiculous. You're a qualified nurse." "I know, but they see us as Deathworlders, barbarians playing at civilization." Hyunwoo leaned forward. "Be patient, Taemin. Prove yourself slowly. Don't give them reasons to send you home." That night, Taemin lay in his new quarters staring at the ceiling. He had traveled across space to work in a hospital that barely saw patients. He had left Seoul General, where he saved lives daily, to file reports and treat minor cuts. It felt like a mistake, but he had signed a contract. 2 years. He would make the best of it. The next morning, Taemin reported to the medical bay in his new uniform. Dr. Quinn assigned him to observation duty. His job was to watch and learn how they did things at Station Kepler 442. He was not to treat patients without supervision. Taemin spent the day watching alien doctors work with extreme caution. When a miner came in with a headache, they ran dozens of tests: brain scans, blood work, genetic analysis. 2 hours later, they determined he was dehydrated and gave him water. When a station worker had a small burn from touching hot equipment, the doctors treated it like a serious emergency, applying advanced healing gel and monitoring the patient for hours. Everything took so long. Everything required multiple consultations. Everything needed extensive documentation. On his 3rd day, Taemin met Ji-won, a human security officer who worked on the station. They ran into each other in the cafeteria. "You're the new doctor," Ji-won said, sitting down at Taemin's table without asking. "How are you liking it here?" "It's different," Taemin said carefully. Ji-won laughed. "That's diplomatic. I've been here a year. I know exactly how you feel. The aliens treat us like we're dangerous animals that might bite. Is it that bad in security? Sometimes worse. They panic during drills. They can't understand why I check for threats constantly. They think I'm paranoid." Ji-won shrugged. "But when actual problems happen, they're glad we're here. Humans are good in crisis situations. We're built for it." Taemin found himself becoming friends with Ji-won and Hyunwoo. The 3 humans ate meals together and shared stories about their experiences with the alien staff. It helped, having others who understood the frustration. 2 weeks into his assignment, something happened that changed things slightly. A trader from one of the mining colonies came into the medical bay. He had slipped on wet floor and fallen downstairs. His arm bent at an unnatural angle. Clearly broken. The alien doctors gathered around discussing options. They wanted to sedate the patient, run scans, consult with specialists via communication. The trader groaned in pain, his arm swelling. Taemin watched for several minutes. The discussion continued. No one acted. Finally, he couldn't watch anymore. "Excuse me," Taemin said, stepping forward. "May I help?" Dr. Quinn turned to him. "This is a serious injury. We are developing a treatment plan." "The bone is broken," Taemin said. "It needs to be set before the swelling gets worse. With your permission, I can do this quickly. You want to manipulate the broken bone?" Another doctor asked, horrified. "It's standard procedure for fractures. I've done it hundreds of times." Dr. Quinn's crystal body pulsed with colors that Taemin couldn't interpret. But after a moment, the chief physician stepped back. "Show us," Dr. Quinn said. Taemin moved to the patient. He explained what he was going to do, his translator converting the words. The trader nodded, desperate for relief. Taemin examined the arm carefully, feeling for the break point. Then with quick and confident movements, he manipulated the bone back into alignment. The trader cried out once, then relaxed. The arm was straight again. "Now we immobilize it," Taemin said, reaching for a stabilizer. He wrapped the arm carefully, checked circulation, and gave the trader something for pain. The entire procedure took less than 10 minutes. The alien doctor stared at him in silence. "The bone is aligned," Taemin explained. "The stabilizer will hold it in place while it heals. He should rest for a few days, then gradually return to normal activity. No heavy lifting for 6 weeks." Dr. Quinn approached the trader and scanned the repaired arm. The scan results appeared on a screen. The bone alignment was perfect. "How did you learn to do that?" Dr. Quinn asked. "Medical school," Taemin replied. "It's a basic emergency procedure on Earth. Broken bones are common." "Common," Dr. Quinn repeated softly. The trader thanked Taemin profusely and left the medical bay smiling. The alien staff slowly returned to their duties, but Taemin felt their eyes on him throughout the rest of the day. That evening, Dr. Quinn called Taemin to the office. "Your handling of the fracture was effective," the chief physician said. "Perhaps we have been too cautious with your assignments." "I just want to help," Taemin said. "Yes, I see that." Dr. Quinn's body pulsed with blue light. "You may begin treating minor cases independently." Under supervision, of course. It wasn't much, but it was progress. Taemin thanked Dr. Quinn and left the office feeling slightly better about his situation. Hyunwoo and Jiwon congratulated him that night over dinner. "See," Hyunwoo said, "slowly prove yourself. That's how we survive here." Taemin smiled, but inside he felt restless. He hadn't come across space to treat minor cases. He was a trauma surgeon. He was trained for emergencies. He just hoped he would get a chance to prove what he could really do. The emergency alert came at Oro 300 station time. Taemin woke instantly, his training kicking in before his mind fully cleared. Red lights flashed in his quarters. A loud alarm echoed through the corridors. His communication device buzzed with an urgent message. Mining colony Tharsis 7 had suffered a catastrophic tunnel collapse during a seismic event. Multiple casualties. Mass evacuation in progress. All medical personnel report immediately. Taemin dressed in seconds and ran to the medical bay. The scene he found there shocked him. Alien doctors rushed around in panic. Equipment was scattered. No one seemed to be in charge. Dr. Quinn stood in the center of the chaos trying to coordinate, but his voice kept getting drowned out by others shouting questions. "How many injured? What species? We need more beds. Where are the emergency supplies?" Hyunwoo appeared at Taemin's side, looking equally alarmed. "They've never dealt with anything like this," he whispered. "The station has handled maybe 3 serious injuries in the past year. Now we're getting hundreds." Taemin looked at the chaos and made a decision. He pushed through the crowd to Dr. Quinn. "Let me help organize this," Taemin said. "We don't have time for—" "That's exactly why you need me. I've handled mass casualty situations, please." Dr. Quinn looked at the panicking staff, then back at Taemin. The crystal being's body pulsed rapidly with stress colors. Finally, he nodded. "What do you need?" "Everyone's attention," Taemin said. Dr. Quinn raised his voice above the noise. "Listen to Dr. Taemin." The room quieted slightly. Taemin stepped forward, his voice calm but carrying authority. "We're setting up triage. That means we sort patients by how serious their injuries are. Hyunwoo, clear the left side of the medical bay. That's for critical cases. Center area is for serious but stable. Right side is for minor injuries. Everyone understand? Nods and murmurs of agreement. We need 3 stations. Each station needs a doctor and nurse team. Stock each station with supplies now before patients arrive. Move! The alien staff began to organize. Taemin's clear instructions cut through their panic. Hyunwoo directed the nurses in preparing treatment areas. Ji-won appeared, leading several other security officers to help move equipment. The first transport is 5 minutes out, Ji-won reported. 20 patients on board. Good, Taemin said. When they arrive, I assess each patient first. I tell you where they go. Don't argue, don't discuss, just move them. Speed saves lives in situations like this. Understand? The staff nodded, their panic beginning to fade as organization took hold. The first transport ship docked. The pilot was human, a woman named Captain Mirai. She looked exhausted and stressed as she helped medical teams unload the injured. It's bad down there, Mirai told Taemin. Really bad. The whole northern tunnel system collapsed. Miners from 6 different species trapped, some crushed, some suffocating, some with radiation exposure from broken equipment. Taemin moved through the casualties, making instant assessments. His years of trauma experience guided his decisions. Critical, he pointed to a reptilian miner with a crushed chest. Serious, he indicated one with a broken leg and head injury. Minor, he directed a patient with cuts and bruises. The alien doctors watched in amazement as Taemin worked. He never hesitated. One look at a patient and he knew what they needed. The casualties flowed into the medical bay and were quickly sorted into treatment areas. More transports arrived. 20 patients became 40, then 60, then 80. Taemin moved to the critical care area. This was where his skills really mattered. The most severely injured lay here fighting for survival. He started working on a patient with massive internal bleeding. I need to operate now, Taemin told the alien doctor assigned to assist him. There's no time for scans or consultations. If we don't stop this bleeding in the next few minutes, he dies. The alien doctor looked terrified. But we should. There is no should. There's only do. Help me or step aside. The doctor stayed. Taemin worked quickly, his hands moving with practiced precision. He opened the patient, found the bleeding vessels, and repaired them. The alien doctor passed him instruments with shaking hands, clearly shocked by the directness of the procedure. He's stable, Taemin announced 15 minutes later. Next patient. The next was a female miner from a species Taemin didn't recognize. She had been crushed under fallen rock. Multiple broken bones, collapsed lung, possible spinal damage. Can you save her? Dr. Quinn asked, appearing at his side. I can try, Taemin said. He worked on her for an hour, stabilizing her spine, reinflating her lung, setting her broken bones. It was delicate, difficult work. The alien anatomy was different from human, but the principles were the same. Stop the bleeding, ensure breathing, stabilize the structure. When he finished, the miner was breathing on her own. Her vital signs were weak but steady. Taemin moved to the next patient. And the next. And the next, he lost track of time. Everything became a blur of blood and tissue and desperate repair work. Hyunwoo assisted him, anticipating his needs. They worked together like they had back on Earth, smooth and efficient. One patient particularly challenged him. A reptilian miner named Daxrin had been trapped under rubble for hours. His internal organs were failing. Toxins from damaged tissue poisoned his blood. Every system in his body was shutting down. The alien doctors gathered around, their expressions grim. There's nothing we can do, one said. His damage is too severe. Taemin examined Daxrin carefully. The situation was bad but not hopeless. On Earth, he had saved patients in similar conditions. We can try an emergency filtering procedure, Taemin said. Clean his blood, reduce the toxin load, give his organs time to recover. That procedure is theoretical, Dr. Quinn said. It's never been tested on his species. Then we test it now, Taemin replied. Or we let him die. Those are the options. Silence fell over the group. Finally, Dr. Quinn nodded. Do it, Taemin set up the filtration system, adapting it for Daxrin's physiology. It was risky, experimental. But doing nothing was certain death. He connected the tubes, started the machine, and watched the monitors closely. For the first hour, nothing changed. Daxarin's vital signs continued to drop. Then, slowly, the toxin levels began to fall. His organ function stabilized. His breathing improved. "It's working," Hyunwoo said, amazement in his voice. Taemin allowed himself a small smile.
"Keep monitoring him."
"If anything changes, call me immediately." He moved on to other patients. The work continued. More transports arrived with more wounded. The medical bay became a battlefield where Taemin fought death itself. Captain Mirai brought in another load of casualties. She found Taemin in the middle of a surgery. "How are you still standing?" she asked. "You've been working for 18 hours straight, have I?" Taemin didn't look up from his patient. "I stopped counting. Most of the others are exhausted. They're taking breaks. But you just keep going." "People need help," Taemin said simply. "I can rest when they're all safe." Mirai shook her head in wonder. "Deathworlders. You're all crazy." "Probably," Taemin agreed. By hour 36, the flow of casualties finally slowed. The rescue teams had evacuated everyone they could find. The dead were counted. The survivors were all in treatment. Taemin sat down for the first time and felt his body scream in protest. Every muscle ached. His hands trembled slightly from exhaustion. But he had done it. They had saved so many lives. Dr. Quinn approached him carrying a drink. "You should rest." "Soon," Taemin said. "I want to check on the critical patients first. They are stable. All of them. Even Daxarin is recovering." Dr. Quinn sat beside him. "I need to say something, Dr. Taemin. When you arrived here, I did not trust you. I thought human medicine was barbaric. Too aggressive, too risky. And now?" Taemin asked. "Now I understand. You learned your medicine on a world where death comes constantly, where waiting and discussing means patients die. Your methods seem aggressive because your world demands aggression, but they work." Dr. Quinn's crystal body glowed with a warm color. "Without you, many would have died today. Your triage system saved lives. Your surgical skills saved lives. Your willingness to take risks when necessary saved lives." The chief physician stood. "I was wrong about human doctors. I was wrong about you. And I am grateful you are here." Taemin felt emotion tighten his throat. He had come across space hoping to prove himself, to show that humans had value. In the worst possible way, he had gotten that chance. "Thank you," he managed to say. Hyunwoo and Jiwon found him in the recovery area an hour later. Taemin was checking on patients, making sure they were all comfortable. "You need to sleep," Hyunwoo said firmly. "Doctor's orders." "I'm the doctor," Taemin pointed out. "Then heal yourself," Jiwon said. "You look terrible." Taemin laughed, surprised he still could after everything. "Fine, I'll rest. But wake me if anything changes." As he walked to his quarters, Taemin passed through the medical bay one more time. The alien doctors and nurses worked quietly, caring for the wounded. They moved with new confidence using methods he had taught them during the crisis. In the critical care area, Daxarin slept peacefully. His monitors showed steady improvement. Taemin finally went to his room and collapsed on his bed. Within seconds, he was asleep. And for the first time since arriving at Station Kepler 442, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. News of the Tharsis 7 rescue spread across the galactic communication networks within days. Taemin woke one morning to find his face on news screens throughout the station. The headline read, "Deathworlder Doctor Saves Hundreds in Mining Disaster." He tried to ignore the attention. Work continued at Station Kepler 442, busier now than ever before. But something had changed. Ships began arriving specifically requesting human medical treatment. Patients traveled from distant colonies seeking out the station where the Deathworlder doctor worked. "You're famous," Jiwon said one evening in the cafeteria. "There are discussion forums about you, people sharing stories. Some aliens are scared, but many are fascinated." Taemin shook his head. "I just did my job." "Your job saved lives that other doctors would have given up on," Hyunwoo pointed out. "That matters to people." A week after the disaster, Taemin received a priority communication. The message was marked urgent and came from a government official on a core world. He opened it in private. The hologram showed an elderly alien of a species Taemin recognized as Velkith. They were influential in galactic politics. This particular Velkith introduced himself as Council Member Threskal. "Dr. Taemin," the hologram began, "I am contacting you about a private matter. My daughter is dying. She has a genetic condition that our best doctors cannot treat. They have given her 3 months to live. I have heard about your success with impossible cases. I am asking for your help." The hologram included medical files. Taman spent hours reviewing them. The condition was complex, affecting the girl's cellular structure at a fundamental level. The alien doctors had tried various treatments, but nothing worked. They were right to be pessimistic, but Taman saw possibilities. On Earth, genetic conditions were treated with aggressive therapy that targeted the problem at its source. The techniques were risky, but they worked. Could the same principles apply to an alien species? He contacted Council Member Threscal and agreed to try. The girl, whose name was Lyra, arrived at Station Kepler 442 3 days later. She was young, maybe equivalent to a human teenager. Her skin had a blue tint that indicated her illness. She moved slowly, carefully, as if her body hurt. "Can you really help me?" Lyra asked through her translator. Her voice was small and scared. "I'm going to try," Taman said honestly. "The treatment will be difficult. It might not work. But if we do nothing, the result is certain." Lyra nodded. "Then let's try." Taman spent a week preparing. He consulted with Dr. Quinn about alien physiology. He studied everything known about Velkith biology. He adapted human genetic therapy techniques to match Lyra's cellular structure. Dr. Quinn watched him work with interest. "This approach is very different from standard galactic medicine. Human medicine developed differently," Taman explained. "On Earth, we faced so many threats that we learned to be aggressive, to attack problems directly. It's risky, but often it's the only way." "Deathworld medicine," Dr. Quinn said thoughtfully. "The treatment took 3 days. Taman introduced modified genetic material into Lyra's cells, targeting the defective sequences. He monitored her constantly, adjusting the therapy as her body responded. It was exhausting, intense work. One mistake could kill her. Yunwu assisted him throughout, managing Lyra's comfort and vital signs. The girl was brave, enduring the painful treatment without complaint. On the 4th day, her skin began to change color. The blue tint faded. Her cellular structure stabilized. The genetic markers that indicated her illness started to disappear. "It's working," Taman said, barely believing it himself. By the end of the week, Lyra was healthy. Not cured completely, but stable. She would need follow-up treatments, but she would live. Council Member Threscal arrived personally to take his daughter home. The elderly alien held Taman's hands in both of his. "You saved my daughter's life. How can I ever repay you?" "Help others understand," Taman said. "Human medicine is different, but it has value. We can contribute to the galaxy." "I will make sure everyone knows," Threscal promised, and he did. The council member used his influence to share Lyra's story across official channels. News programs interviewed him. Medical journals published reports about the treatment. Taman's name became known throughout several sectors. More patients came. A trader with a supposedly untreatable infection, a miner with nerve damage that alien doctors said was permanent, a child with a rare blood disorder. Taman treated them all, using techniques learned on Earth and adapted for alien species. His success rate was remarkable. Not perfect, he couldn't save everyone, but far better than the galactic standard for difficult cases. One day, a woman arrived at the station. She was human, professionally dressed, and carried herself with authority. She introduced herself as Dr. Bora, a xenobiologist from Earth's Medical Diplomatic Corps. "I've been following your work," Bora said. "It's impressive. You're making history out here." "I'm just treating patients," Taman replied. "You're doing more than that. You're proving that human medicine deserves a place in galactic civilization." Bora pulled out a tablet. "I have a proposal. I want to document your techniques. Create training materials. Share human medical knowledge with alien doctors across the consortium." "Why me?" Taman asked. "Because you're the one making it work. You understand both human and alien medicine. You can bridge the gap." Bora leaned forward. "Think about it. Right now, you're helping patients one at a time. But if we share your knowledge, we could help millions." Taman thought about all the alien doctors he had worked with. How cautious they were. How their gentle methods sometimes failed when aggressive action was needed. If they learned human techniques, if they understood Deathworld medicine, how many more lives could be saved? "Okay," he said. "Let's do it." The project took months. Bora set up equipment at the station. They recorded Taman's procedures. He explained his thinking, his methods, his adaptations. Other human doctors from Earth joined via hologram, sharing their expertise. Dr. Quinn became involved too, offering the alien perspective. Together, they created comprehensive training materials that explained human medicine in terms alien doctors could understand. Meanwhile, a journalist named Young Soo arrived at the station. He had planned to write a sensational piece about the dangerous Deathworlder doctor. But after spending time watching Taemin work after interviewing patients whose lives were saved, his perspective changed. "You're not what I expected," Young Soo admitted. "I thought I'd find someone reckless and aggressive. But you're careful. You care about your patients. You just have different tools and training." "That's all humans are," Taemin said. "Different? Not better or worse, just different." Young Soo's article, when published, was balanced and thoughtful. It helped change public opinion about human doctors. Other humans working in the consortium reported better treatment from alien colleagues. Hyunwoo was offered a position training nurses across multiple stations. Jiwon became head of security for an entire sector. More humans were accepted into consortium programs. The changes were slow but real. Taemin saw it in how Dr. Quinn talked to him now, as an equal and colleague. He saw it in how alien medical students contacted him with questions. He saw it in the patients who no longer feared human treatment. One evening, Taemin sat with Dr. Quinn in the observation lounge, watching stars through the windows. "When you first arrived, I thought you were dangerous," Dr. Quinn said. "I thought your methods were too aggressive, too primitive." "And now?" Taemin asked. "Now I understand that aggressive is not the same as wrong. Your world made you strong. It taught you to fight for life with everything you have. That's not primitive. That's survival refined to an art form." Dr. Quinn's crystal body glowed softly in the dim light. "The galaxy has been safe for so long that we forgot how to fight. We have excellent medicine for a peaceful universe. But the universe is not always peaceful. We need doctors who remember how to fight. We need Deathworld medicine. We can learn from each other," Taemin said. "Your careful methods, our aggressive techniques. Together we can do more than either could alone." "Yes," Dr. Quinn agreed. Together. A priority message arrived on Taemin's device, an invitation to present at the Galactic Medical Summit on Tarsus Prime. The summit was the most prestigious medical conference in known space. Human doctors had never been invited before. "They want me to speak about Deathworld medicine," Taemin said, reading the message. "In front of the whole galactic medical community. Will you go?" Dr. Quinn asked. Taemin thought about his journey. From Seoul General Hospital to Station Kepler 442. From being barely trusted to being invited to speak at the summit. He thought about all the patients he had saved, the techniques he had shared, the changes he had witnessed. "Yes," he said. "I'll go." "Good," Dr. Quinn said. "The galaxy needs to hear what you have to say." Taemin looked out at the stars, thinking about the future. Human medicine was gaining acceptance. More Deathworlder doctors would follow in his path. The galaxy was slowly learning that different did not mean wrong, that strength could come from hardship, that survival itself could teach valuable lessons. He had come to space, hoping to prove himself. Instead, he had helped prove the value of his entire species. The work was just beginning. The transport to Tarsus Prime took 2 weeks. Taemin spent the time preparing his presentation and trying not to feel nervous. He was going to speak in front of the most respected medical minds in the galaxy. Many of them still viewed humans with suspicion. This was his chance to change that. Hana met him at the spaceport. She had been selected to join the consortium 6 months ago and now worked at a medical facility on one of the core worlds. Seeing his old friend made Taemin feel better immediately. "Look at you," Hana said, hugging him. "The famous Deathworlder doctor." "I'm not famous," Taemin protested. "You are. Trust me. Everyone is talking about your presentation. Some are excited. Others are less excited, let me guess. They think I'm going to promote dangerous practices." "Something like that," Hana admitted. "But don't worry. You'll show them." Tarsus Prime was beautiful. The planet was one of the original core worlds, home to advanced civilizations for thousands of years. The cities gleamed with architecture that blended nature and technology. The medical summit was being held in a massive convention center that could hold 50,000 beings. Dr. Yoonji, head of Earth's Medical Diplomatic Corps, met them at their hotel. She was an older woman with sharp eyes and a confident manner. "Dr. Taemin, finally we meet in person," she said. I've been following your work closely. You've done more for human-alien medical relations in 1 year than we accomplished in 10. I just treated patients, Taman said. Exactly. You let your work speak for you. That's the best diplomacy. Yunji pulled out a tablet. Now about your presentation. You're scheduled for the main hall tomorrow afternoon. Expect about 20,000 attendees and millions watching via broadcast. Taman felt his stomach tighten. That many? Your topic is controversial. Everyone wants to hear what you have to say. Yunji smiled. No pressure. That night, Taman barely slept. He reviewed his presentation dozens of times. He practiced his speech. He imagined all the questions he might face. The next afternoon, he stood backstage at the convention hall listening to the introduction. The announcer spoke about Station Kepler 442, the Tharsis 7 rescue, his success with difficult cases. Then came his name. Please welcome Dr. Taman speaking on survival medicine lessons from a death world. Taman walked onto the stage. The hall was enormous, filled with thousands of beings from hundreds of species. His presentation appeared on screens throughout the space. He took a breath and began. My name is Dr. Taman. I come from Earth, a Class 12 death world. Today I want to talk about what my planet taught me about medicine. He showed images of Earth, beautiful but dangerous. Volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, predators and diseases. The audience murmured, seeing the world humans called home. On Earth, death comes from everywhere. Our bodies evolved to survive constant threats. Our medicine evolved to fight aggressively, because waiting means dying. What we consider normal emergency procedures, the galaxy considers extreme. Taman presented case studies, patients he had saved using Deathworld techniques. He explained his reasoning, his methods, his adaptations for alien species. He showed success rates compared to standard galactic treatments. I am not saying galactic medicine is wrong. Your methods work beautifully for stable situations. But when crisis comes, when time is critical, Deathworld medicine offers tools you don't have. The presentation continued for an hour. Taman spoke passionately about combining approaches, learning from each other, using the best techniques for each situation. He finished with a simple message. We are all trying to save lives. Earth taught humans to fight for life with everything we have. Let us share that knowledge. Let us work together. The applause was mixed. Some enthusiastic, others polite, a few silent. The question session began. A crystalline doctor stood. Your methods are dangerous. You advocate cutting into patients, manipulating their bodies directly. This violates basic medical ethics. On Earth, those same methods save thousands daily. Taman replied calmly. Ethics must balance risk against outcome. Sometimes the safe choice leads to death while the risky choice leads to life. More questions came. Some hostile, some curious, all challenging. Taman answered each one patiently. He acknowledged risks. He admitted failures. He shared both successes and setbacks. An elderly physician stood. Taman recognized him from images. Grand Physician Lothmar, the highest medical authority in the consortium. Your presentation is interesting, Dr. Taman, but interesting is not the same as convincing. You ask us to adopt methods we consider barbaric, based on your success at one station. That is insufficient evidence. The room went silent. Lothmar's opinion carried enormous weight. If he rejected Deathworld medicine, it would set human integration back years. Taman was preparing to respond when alarms began blaring throughout the convention center. Attention. This is not a drill. Evacuate immediately. Repeat, this is not a drill. Panic erupted in the hall. Thousands of beings rushed toward exits. Taman stood on stage trying to understand what was happening. Then he heard the explosion. The blast came from the north side of the building. The floor shook. Smoke began filling the air. Screams echoed through the space, terrorist attack. The thought came immediately. Taman's training kicked in automatically. While alien doctors ran toward exits, Taman ran toward the explosion. Hana was right behind him. So were several other human attendees he recognized. The north wing was chaos. Part of the ceiling had collapsed. Fire burned in several places. Bodies lay everywhere, some moving, some still. The wounded cried for help. We need to triage, Taman shouted to Hana. They began sorting casualties, critical, serious, minor, dead. It was terrible work, but necessary. They needed to help those who could be saved first. Other humans joined them. Doctors, nurses, even some non-medical humans who knew basic first aid. They worked together instinctively. falling into emergency response patterns learned from living on a death world. Taemin found a woman pinned under debris. Her breathing was labored, crushed chest. He called for help and began trying to free her. Dr. Quinn appeared, having been in the audience.
Taemin!
The authorities say we must evacuate. These people will die if we leave them, Taemin said, still working. Help me move this debris. Dr. Quinn hesitated only a moment, then began helping. Together, they freed the woman. Taemin assessed her quickly. Collapsed lung. He needed to reinflate it now. I need a sharp tool and a tube, he told Dr. Quinn. The crystal doctor found supplies from a first aid station. Taemin made a quick incision between the woman's ribs and inserted the tube. Air whistled out, then her breathing eased. She's stable. Move her to the safe zone, Taemin ordered. More alien doctors began returning. Seeing humans working calmly in the disaster area, treating the wounded, they found courage to stay and help. Taemin moved through the casualties, treating, stabilizing, saving a man with severe burns, a child with a head injury, an elderly being bleeding from multiple wounds. He found Grand Physician Lothmar lying near the stage area. The elderly physician was conscious but badly hurt. A piece of metal debris had struck his chest. Blood pooled beneath him. Don't move me, Lothmar said weakly. I know the injury is fatal. Taemin examined him quickly. The metal had pierced close to Lothmar's primary heart. It was serious, possibly fatal. But not definitely. I can save you, Taemin said. But I need to operate now here with minimal equipment. It will be risky. You just finished arguing for aggressive treatment, Lothmar said, attempting a smile. Now you hesitate? You're the Grand Physician. If I fail? If you do nothing, I die certainly. If you try, I might live. Lothmar looked at him steadily. I spent my career choosing safe options. Perhaps it is time to take a risk. Taemin nodded. He called Hana and Dr. Quinn to assist. With debris still burning nearby, with smoke in the air, with minimal supplies, he began surgery on the most important medical figure in the galaxy. His hands were steady. His mind was clear. This was what Earth had trained him for. Impossible situations, terrible conditions, life or death decisions with no time to think. He removed the metal debris carefully, located the bleeding, repaired the damaged tissue, stabilized the primary heart and the secondary systems. It took 20 minutes that felt like hours. Finally, he stepped back. He's stable. We need to get him to a proper medical facility, but he'll survive. Lothmar was unconscious but breathing steadily. His vital signs were weak but improving. Emergency services finally arrived in force. They began evacuating the wounded. Taemin helped coordinate, ensuring critical patients were transported first. When the last casualty was loaded onto medical transports, Taemin finally allowed himself to sit down. His clothes were covered in blood. His body ached. But he had done it. They had saved so many. Hana sat beside him, looking equally exhausted. Just like old times in Seoul. Yeah, Taemin agreed. Just like old times. Dr. Quinn approached them. The authorities have confirmed. Terrorists targeted the summit. Over 100 casualties. They say the death toll would have been much higher if not for the rapid medical response. How many did we lose? Taemin asked. 12 confirmed dead. Dozens critical but alive. Dr. Quinn's body glowed with solemn colors. Every human at the summit helped. Even those